All right, hello and welcome back to Season 2, Week 2 of Prep Phase League. We are here with Rude versus LoveBytes, and the pick banning is underway. We've got Flyaway Freighter as the map selection. Both bans are in. Rude picking Lockwood as their ban, LoveBytes choosing for Helio, and LoveBytes just came in with their first pick as Gray.
Hmm.
All right, really excited to see Flyaway Freighter picked. I don't think we get enough matches on there, except for of course Trash, who has kind of claimed that as their home map.
I would like to see teams not ban the Helio. Personally, I don't think it's that much of an issue, but I do know that teams do see him as an issue. But I do think if you just leave the Helio up, take the Aurora, there is a counter there.
Yeah, with all the unstoppable that's out there now, I don't think Helios is as much of an issue as he used to be, especially since they have tweaked him a little bit. He's not as powerful as he used to be, but
Hmm.
he is still a major nuisance if you get a team playing him really well. And looks like we've got Zuki coming in on Rude along with Asana. Lovebite's going to follow up their Gray pick with a Finn, so they do have that Finn Gray combo going on.
Hmm. And again, as Loffins would say, Zuki Mania!
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
You forgot the brother at the end of that, so you're not. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, Loffins.
All
But
right.
again, Love Bite. Oh, Love. I didn't see this. I'm sorry, I'm blind. Love Bites, Gray and Finn. Let's talk about that. We saw it for the first time actually against Trash versus the Devs, and oh my god, that combo is ridiculous.
Oh man, and Love Bites coming in with 3 and 4 is Rask and Nyx. An incredibly strong composition for both ranged and just straight up aggressiveness with Rask. Of course, Rude's still working on their fourth, but they do have Aurora as their support choice.
I wouldn't be surprised to yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised to see the burn coming out. It does. I do know that Rude did pick up Blackburn last week, I believe, and did do quite well. But
Ye-
again, let's talk about Love Bites team. They have drafted superbly. The Grey, the Finn, the Rask, the Nyx. Holy wow.
So,
Against an Asana, a Zuki, an Aurora, and a Blackburn, I have to give credit. Rude does have the Asana, the Zuki, I guess, and the Aurora. I don't know about the Blackburn. I personally like him, but I don't think he's strong enough to actually go against the other firepowers. But
well, I mean, just
we'll see.
Love Bites has a great composition. I want to give them credit. I don't know if it is in fact the case, but I think what they've done is, you go for that Gray first pick, and generally that's going to prevent the other team from taking Nyx. So if you want to play the range game, taking Gray as your first choice is going to give you, if the other team's, taking that into account, is going to give you Nyx as well generally, because the other team's not going to take a Nyx when they have Gray on the other team. It's not the greatest idea.
I do think as soon as Love Bites picked Grey, Rude should have known they might be trying to go with the Finn pick and should have picked Finn themselves. I don't know if Rude really needed the Asana over the Finn. I do think it will bite them. But again, Love Bites have a fantastic draft.
Well,
They're
even
getting the champions they need
well,
and want.
even though they didn't get Asana, they got Rask. I mean, Rask is, arguably the best frontliner out there. So the fact that, even though Rude took Asana off of them first off, they still got, in my opinion and a lot of people's opinion, the better frontliner out of it.
I have to disagree there. I do think Asana is the better one, although Rude did take it away from them. But again, with the composition, Love Bites do have the frontliner, the support that can stay mid away from the enemy, and they have two of the longest range freelancers in the game.
And not to mention, I guess what is arguably considered to be the best support currently, as far as actual healing supports go. Finn has the AoE heal, has a bubble that does just incredible protection, 40 damage, as well as giving a lot of utility to it as well. The ability to throw a root on there, and regardless, it's going to do a little bit of AoE damage to whoever is in the adjacent squares.
My compositions alone, I have to say, LoveBytes will dominate Rude. I'm sorry, it might be a little mean, but I have to say, LoveBytes will take this game by a large margin. They're able to keep the Rask at the front. They're able to keep the Finn just a little bit away to keep the Rask healthy and nice while still being able to do damage. And Gray and Nix can just stay on the outer rims, just dominating, putting pressure, putting damage onto Rude every turn.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at who we have playing who. Looks like we've got King Pyro on Gray, Dojo playing Rask again. Um, Looks like Average Spa playing Finn and J Knight as the Nyx, while we got Skid Row on Aurora. Earthrat is playing Backburn, Skiros as the Asana, and of course Lojiki is going in as the Zuki pick. And of course, everybody with the the matching banners there. Always nice to see when teams like to do some vanity stuff like that.
Always nice to see, but it doesn't help you. But it is really nice to see. Again, I do hope that Rude did see some of the 2OP games and actually get a brain really and just take down the Rask instead of just leaving him for so long. They need to take down the Rask if they plan to take down the Rask.
Yeah, I am curious to see here if we're going to see, Rude have some of the same issues against LoveBytes that 2OP was having. Not keeping their focus on certain players just to make sure that they can confirm that kill, because in the end, as long as it doesn't, it's not too much of a detriment to your own team, that is the most important part of this game. It's how you win, confirming those kills.
It's true, you need the score, you need to get the kills. Stop leaving people on low health, just focus them down. It's really not a hard game when you think about it.
And of course, we have Rude here as the blue team, and LoveBytes as the red team on the right side.
And please, please, please get the fights on the way. Don't hide. Don't be scared of your opponents. I don't see a reason for LoveBytes to be scared of Rude. So let's just get into it and get the fights going.
Looks like we do have LoveBytes splitting up here, trying to catch some vision. Of course, on the north side by the Love Tunnel, they are staying back just a little bit. And we do have Rude moving towards the south side here. Does not look like any vision on each other. Of course, there is a marker on Rask and Lojiki. Lojiki throwing out that big one, causing a slow on the Rask. But other than that, not a whole lot of action going on here. Pot shot from J Knight, but not catching anyone. Even with that range, he's just too far away.
I want to ask a question. Is it better to group up in a corner? Because we see a lot of teams do it, right? But I don't think the best way to go about it is that the way every team should do, hide in a corner and wait for the enemy team to come. I don't think it is, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. It looks like, 2OP had a very specific tactic they were using, and it sounded like it was something specifically to counter that Celeste pick. So I don't think that's necessarily a good thing to do. Of course, that big one coming out, missing everybody. J Knight throwing up a Nyx trap who's not... Oh, and we had Earthrat just barely miss it, hopping over to cover instead, but J Knight is invisible, and they don't know where he is.
J Knight does have the advantage where I do think is able to hit a 3-man vortex round. That should hit Earthrat, am I right?
I believe so.
Of course I'm right.
There goes some energy build for Aurora. We got some eels on Earth right here. There it is, that vortex round hitting 3 people, all for cover damage though. J-Knight then catching some sticky bombs with the reveal on it along with Average Spaceman. And it looks like here's where it's going to start. Dojal's right there in the middle of him. He should be able to hit at least 3 of them with his basic attack.
Not only is Dojo, I should be saying that Dojo is in a really bad position, but look at the enemy. 3 of their damage dealers have weak. Dojo is in a fantastic position. I didn't expect the weak mod to come out, but it has worked fantastically. Earthrat choosing to take the turtle tech early, don't think it was worth it. I'm not sure what he's doing.
And then he uses that might on top of the weak. Skid Row throwing that Paralaser out for a little bit of shields and weak. And we have Earthrat catching some cover damage from Gray, and those sticky bombs do go off. A Pierce shot hitting Earthrat and Skiros from J-Knight, and that swipe from Dojal catching, I believe it was 3 people there. A rocket from Lojiki towards J-Knight doing some cover damage as well.
Earthrat still don't know what he was thinking, but I'm just going to move on and not talk about it really. J-Knight is actually quite low now, but is in quite a position. He should be choosing to move back this turn. And sorry, I just saw a visual bug where everyone's taking damage, so I'm going to leave that up to you now.
So yeah, Earthrat's still at 4/5 health at least. Average Spaceman throwing out some heals on the J-Knight, and King Pyrojack there. Couple shields coming out. We have Skiros dashing into J-Knight. And then J-Knight catches that box of doom. Earthrat using that dash and spray to hit both J-Knight and Spaceman. Lojiki throwing out a rocket to hit J-Knight and King Pyrojack. Pyro then responding to Lojiki with some damage, as well as J-Knight. And then Dojal doing a knockback. Looks like a lot of focus happening on Lojiki. He is now at less than half health.
Logic's at low health, but he does have his dash. Obviously, he will, and if he doesn't, I will be touching on that quite a lot. But J-Knight, again, losing a lot of health. He should be, I do think he should choose to catalyst away, go invisible, and come back around. I don't know. It does look like he's staying. I don't know why. Both teams are in a really good position at the moment.
And that would be why he is getting a bubble from Finn. Lojiki is, of course, going to dash out of there and taunt it when he does, doing 20 damage. And here comes Aurora doing double damage to King Pyro and Spaceman. Spaceman then going to do a swipe. Skiros doing a swipe there to hit 2 members of the enemy team. Dojal missing because of the dash. And Skiros going to catch a little bubble damage, plus a shot from J-Knight. Rio coming in to do a little additional damage to Skiros as well. And some brain juice coming out for Spaceman to prepare him for the future.
As I said at the beginning in the drafting, they have a really good team that they can position themselves up perfectly. But they're choosing not to position themselves to get maximum potential. They're just spreading out. They don't know what's going on. It looks like they're scared. I don't know why. But Dojo, look, is still on full health. Everyone's choosing not to focus him. And yeah.
Well, they all are playing defensively, so they are playing with a single mind. They do have that going for them. So, and here comes that slow big one hitting 2 members of the enemy team. And King Byro then going to dash out of it. Spaceman's still there. And Eel's going on to Skiro, who is then going to root J-Knight in place. Hopefully to finish him off here soon. Earthrat missing that shot completely because of the gray dash. And here comes that ultimate from J-Knight, hitting both Lojiki and Skiros. And Lojiki then going down for the count, being finished off by Dojal's swipe.
I was just about to say J-Knight chose a really bad position to walk to, but it has worked out for them. They managed to take out the Zuki, and Skiros is now dangerously low. J-Knight looks like choosing to stay, just take the death. I can understand that.
Well, he did get rooted in place.
I did not see that, I'm sorry. Earthrat is in a really, really bad position. Now, if King Pyro and Dojo actually go into positions that punish this Blackburn Earthrat, then they could take him down very quickly.
It looks like Skid Row sending off his ultimate. I don't think it hit anybody but himself. That may have been a misclick. And of course, Nyx did jump out of there with a catalyst, so he did get to safety.
To get to safety. And looks like he's able to pick up the health and bring himself back to full health shortly.
So I am kind of
Earthrat again in a really bad position. Although choosing to dash away, he's going to be in a worse position next turn. Let's just hope the Rax doesn't have him on follow.
So and then Skiros activating that Retribution, while Spaceman's gonna throw a shield on the Pyrojack. And looks like a Nyx trap going out there with that dart hitting Earthrat. Looks like it also has the slow on it. Dojal then gonna miss because Earthrat did a dash and a spray, hitting both those members of the enemy team, Pyro and Dojal. And looks like a bad predict coming from Aurora into the middle of that that love tunnel there, trying to find Nyx, but unsuccessful.
Nyx is incredibly caught out now with the Zuki, the Aurora, and the all on top of him. He's in a very bad position and he should be going down this turn. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to give you full turns as I have to deal with something.
Not a problem. So we got Logiki coming out there with the ultimate, mighted up first. Here comes that Blackburn ultimate, catching two members of the enemy team. Logiki then taking a shot out, hitting Spaceman and Dojal both for 64. Huge damage coming out. J-Knight with that Vortex round, catching both Aurora and Logiki. And then a swipe from Asana, catching Nyx. And here comes the Gray ultimate, catching Logiki in the center with Skid Row on the side. Spaceman only with 1 health left while Earthrat gets knocked back. And here comes that combo. We've got the Finn ultimate pulling Logiki through the wall. If it had been one more square over, he could have snagged Skid Row as well. And Nyx does escape there. So only taking damage from Skiros when he did his basic attack. And Earthrat very out of position now, going to have to use a full movement to get back into the fight. And Dojal using that heal a little early, only catching 10 health from it. Skid Row throwing a big 40 onto Logiki. We've got Pyrodrac using a turtle tech. Several dashes happen in Catalyst. Dojal dashing only 1 space while Logiki Catalyst out. Here comes that Blackburn ultimate second turn, catching Dojal while Nyx does a shot on the Logiki. And then Dojal's ultimate going off there, catching Skid Row. Pyrojack's shot misses completely, and everybody moves into place now. Looks like Nyx is definitely in a bad spot this turn around. Of course, Logiki not in the greatest spots as well. Does not have jump for another turn. Spaceman's over on the side, out of danger for now, but very low on health with only 23.
Hopefully we will be seeing the J-Knight going down this turn. Although Aurora is very, very low. J-Knight, choose... Oh, sorry, I'll let you take over for this.
Not a problem. So it looks like we've got... or is it Spaceman does not have the selfish mod. J-Knight going down here, being focused by every member of the team. Dojal then knocking Logiki back out of position to move in for the kill.
I do think that I didn't honestly see, but I do think that the Nyx should have put down a trap for the Aurora. I do think that was the better option. They should be trying to get the Aurora very, very low, because she's the one to focus, right? If you get the support down, she has to focus herself on the heals instead of the her allies.
So it looks like they did get that. Aurora had to use the heal on herself. Logiki then dashing out. Earthrat trying to do a spray there to catch somebody. Dojal missing because of the Zuki dash. And everybody just doing some movement here. Not a lot of action going on that round.
Does look like Logiki is very out of position. Doesn't have a dash. Will be going down this turn. Again, and Rude are in a really good position. Although they're losing, they're in a good position. They should be choosing to stay back a little bit get a little bit more health, and then choose to go in. Although there's only 5 turns left, they should at least take 1 turn just to get enough health to come back.
Of course, here comes Skiros with his ultimate coming in to back up Logiki. Spaceman does throw a bubble on himself, and J-Knight throwing out that trap, probably unaware it doesn't catch Asana ultimates. And Asana does damage to both Spaceman and Pyrojack, while Logiki does a rocket shot on the Spaceman, but that bubble does save his life. Skid Row does catch J-Knight's trap, though, so it was not wasted.
Skid Row should not be going up as close as he is. He should be staying back a little bit. He has range, right? Freelancer, stay back, just heal your team. You're going into AoE damage. You're going into where you can get easily focused. Very bad positioning by Skid Row.
And there goes J-Knight going invisible. Here comes that Paralaser, weakening Pyro and adding a little bit of team. But of course, Pyro's jumping out of there. We got a rocket attack on Spaceman, also catching J-Knight. A spray catching all 4 members of the enemy team coming out of Spaceman. Skiros missing with that basic attack. And here comes the ultimate from J-Knight, getting a kill and taking Skid Row down very low. And of course, Finn goes down as well from Earthrat's basic attack. So, still tied up here, 2-2, an incredibly close match on round 17.
They did draw it up, but Skid Row is incredibly low, as well as Skiros, and they're in quite bad positions. They are choosing to dash out, but they go into the same positions. They should be spreading it out at least the tiniest bit. They know that the heal is coming up. They should have been choosing to take the Asana back to the health.
Alright, looks like several dashes there. One from Earthrat causing that miss on the Vortex round. Dojel swiping at nothing because, of course, the Skiros used his Catalyst there. And here comes Pyro, missing as well because of the dashes. Really not a whole lot going on that round either.
Dojo has vision on Skiros, so J-Knight should know where Skid Row is. If he chooses not to go for Skid Row, I will again talk about that, because he should be taking down Aurora this turn. Dojo will now be able to stay on Skid Row for the rest.
Of course, there goes Skid Row, bringing his health back up to 51. Logiki throwing that big one out to slow down Pyrojack, who's going to throw Rio into the mix, catching 3 members of the enemy team. Skid Row then taking a shot from Nyx. Dojel doing a swipe onto Skiros, who's going to return that swipe back.
Skid Row 6 health, living, and has the ultimate. This is very good for them. But Skiros, they should have enough damage to take Skiros down this turn. Again, they should be bringing King Pyro and Average Spaceman closer to the team. That our position. King Pyrojack actually chose to dash in just to get closer, that seems like. Oh, it is turn 19. That will be why.
There goes J-Knight with a shot, missing Skid Row, using his ultimate, catching several people here. Earthrat doing a spray, also hitting nobody because of Skiros' Catalyst. Dojel knocking Skid Row back into the safety of the enemy of his own team. Still with 21 health and 1 turn left. This is the final turn. If either team can secure a kill, they do win.
Dojo should not have pushed him back that far. He should have at least tried to aim it to a better position. Although it does look like J-Knight will be able to get the shot off, and it does look like actually no one else can hit the Asana.
Looks like some healing and shields all around. And Dojel also going to be using his health there. Earthrat throwing out a grenade to hit J-Knight, along with Skid Row throwing out that death box. Looks like they are kind of focusing J-Knight there. A gray ultimate coming in to block off Skiros' pass, and Logiki shooting as well at J-Knight, also catching Dojel. Aurora does go down from J-Knight's shot, and it looks like they've won it 3-2. LoveBytes takes it.
LoveBytes take it, but I honestly don't see it as a victory. I would honestly say that both teams did incredibly well, and it was actually a draw.
So it certainly was very close. Could have gone either way there at the end. Of course, J Knight coming through as Nyx with top damage, 558.
Logiki taking 2 deaths as well. He was in quite bad positions throughout the game. They should know. They should realize that Logiki doesn't have the good positioning, and quite frankly, I don't think they should pick Lizuki again, even though she has the highest damage.
Well, the highest damage for their team, yes, but throughout all of that was still sacrificing a lot, taking a lot of focus because of it. Only took 392 damage, but because she wasn't getting any support and didn't always use her dashes or was getting focused directly after her dashes, was going down pretty handily.
It looked like Rude were just ants throughout the whole game. They didn't know how to position properly. They are a new team, so I will have to give them the benefit of the doubt, but they do need to improve on their positioning. Just overall, your positioning. Please work on it. LoveBytes, they did so well against 2OP. Again, I did say, are they overpowered or whatever? But LoveBytes should have taken this game with not a close victory.
So it seemed like there was a lot of confusion going on there. Both teams would move in, and once again, it's falling into that issue of kills are just not being secured. And I think it's just going to continue to keep coming back to that. We see these characters like the Aurora, for example, moving in and literally being just allowed to walk away, which is causing a lot of issues, especially later in the game when we're seeing these games which should have ended with 5 kills only ending at 3-2.
I did unfortunately miss the Finn death, so I can't talk about that. But J Knight, even he was incredibly low for so long, but he was putting out so much damage, and it was making up for being really low health. But Earthra again with the positioning, Rude needs to work on their positioning. It was awful. I have to call it out. It was awful. It didn't look like Earthrat knew what he was doing half of the time. Skid Row, maybe towards the end, he chose to go as close as possible because the game was running out and they were getting desperate. Again, when they're desperate, it did seem like both teams were getting desperate towards the end. So they were making really stupid mistakes.
All right, and looks like we got both teams in the game ready to go for the drafting here soon. So, but yeah, I'm really surprised to see how some of these games are going. Where we're expecting, these games to be just handily finished off, with a 5-kill score ending the game. We're seeing these games run all the way to round 20 and being finished with 3-2, 4-2. It's not actually being finished out. The teams are basically winning because the rounds are running out. So, and that doesn't happen too often here. It's usually, usually see it when teams are more evenly matched, but I think we're running into some situations here today where one team may be better than the other, but things just aren't being followed through with, especially the kill confirmation. I'm going to keep bugging on that fact because, frankly, it bugs me a little bit.
Yeah, the communication again is lacking. I will give them the benefit of the doubt, although I do know that LoveBytes has, I think, been playing together a lot longer than Rude. Rude are a very new team, and I know Skid Row has not played with these players before. Although saying that, Rude got absolutely smashed last week. Although they played cookie cutters and trash, they got absolutely smashed. And I have to emphasize on the word smash. LoveBytes do seem like a better team. They should be smashing this team as well. I'm sorry for being rude on Rude. way. But again, LoveBytes, these shouldn't be close games.
Yeah, looks like we do have the pick band starting up here. Let's pull that up. Looks like they are going for Evo's Laboratory this time, and we are waiting on Rude to pick their ban.
I'm surprised we're seeing a lot of Evos today.
It's a surprising amount of Evos throughout this season, actually. I'm really surprised to see how popular this map has become over Cloud Spire, which we saw just dominate the map picks for the entire first season.
I wonder if teams have picked on about certain comps for dominating Evos. I do want to know about that, and I will try and question it in chats throughout the week.
All right, looks like the bans are in. We had Rude with a standard Lockwood ban. LoveBytes answering that with a gray ban, taking out some of the better firepowers from this game already. So, and with Gray out of the way, Rude feels free to pick up the Nyx since they aren't going to have that annoying anti-Nyx character on the field the whole time. Same thing with Lockwood, really arguably the best other character to keep Nyx revealed and available to attack.
But let's be real here, though. Is Nyx the best option for the first pick? They had the choice of the Finn, the Rask, the Asana, even the Aurora. They have all these, the Gremlins, the Celeste. They have all these options.
Well, the same
They
could be said
chose
about
Nyx.
LoveBytes. In my opinion, there's some better options out there. They go for Helio and Celeste. While they are excellent picks, you know, they left a lot of things on the table. Like you said, we got Rask, we got Finn. You know, your frontliner and your support, these should be the prioritized, especially if the other team has gone ahead and picked a firepower and not necessarily even a stronger firepower straight off the beginning.
I am surprised they are allowing Skid Row to take Aurora again. He didn't prove to be that much help in the last game. I would have liked to see him on the Finn or the Cork for that matter.
And here comes LoveByte coming in with the Gremlins pick. Once again, Gremlins is very strong on this map. And especially with Celeste, it looks like they might be going for, because Celeste has the ability to split her claws to deal damage to up to 2 characters, which is basically the mechanic that Gremlins just has completely. You know, they will be able to spread the damage around quite well here. I am a little worried to see if they're going to have enough focus, though, to take down characters when they need to burst.
I'm going to touch on it. I'm sorry, I should have stopped you because I have to say this. What are Rude doing? You can't take Aurora and Finn. There isn't enough damage there. LoveBytes already, just by 3 freelancers, could out damage Rude. Unless their Nyx is amazing. And honestly, I don't see it.
I don't know how to respond to that because I completely agree with you. And, I mean, we've seen, you know, 2 support comps work in the past. I don't see this one working, especially with LoveBytes going for a 3 firepower comp to answer that. And not to mention a 3 firepower comp, but they're going with 3 essentially AoE characters who can deal damage to multiple targets at the same time, which is going to be an issue for Rude. They've got 2 supports, and if LoveByte just keeps whittling down multiple characters at the same time, they're not going to be able to keep everybody alive.
As I said in the last game, Rude don't have the positioning to be able to pull this off. I don't see them. I have been wrong many a time in the past, but just by looking at it and looking at the last game, I can't see Rude pulling this off. They're too early as a team. I don't think the communication is there. I don't think the positioning is there. I just think they did it in spite to take away another healer. Don't
Well,
ask me why, but
well, and even you know, we saw 2 OP earlier taking some very strange compositions, and even with their record with the players on the team that we know are excellent players, and obviously the amount of research and training that they've been doing, as we could just tell from the interview, they still struggled a little bit because the composition they had was just a little bit strange. And here we have
Mm.
Rude, a brand new team, coming in and taking a two support comp, which traditionally doesn't work very well in these competitive settings.
It traditionally doesn't work because you can't really pull it off in a pub game, right? Rude aren't at the level now where they can call themselves a full-fledged team. They're still new, they're still improving. That's why I'll always give them the benefit of the doubt for now, but I don't think they're at the level to be able to pull it off. They're still technically a pub team, unless they've been working their socks off week in, week out, day in, day out, just getting that practice in. I don't see them pulling it off.
All right, looks like we have a little bit of a delay for some reason. Someone had to step away for a second.
Again, though, with LoveBytes, every game they've played today, their drafting has been on point. Although personally, I do think the L is bad, but we have seen that L can dominate Evo's map. She is very good. That's just a personal opinion of mine. But again, LoveBytes, have they been practicing drafting? I know not a lot of teams do. I am aware of trash practicing drafting, but I'm unaware of any other team actually practicing the drafting. Have LoveBytes been doing it? As we can see, it does seem like they have, because they have been able to pull fantastic freelancers from the drafting.
Right, and they definitely did come away with what I think was a very strong response to the direction that Rude was going with that two support composition. I just don't think A, they don't have the damage, and B, with the AoE ability that Love Bites has pulled in here, I don't think they're going to be able to heal everybody enough, and they're just going to get whittled down.
They're going to get whittled down turn after turn, and they're just going to die eventually with barely doing any damage to LoveBytes. We see Celeste, like they have one dash on their team. If LoveBytes can get in there early, force some flashes before turn 10, there is no way Rude can come back from that. As soon as they get rid of the Aurora, the Nyx, or the Finn Catalyst, that's it. They're dead. They're going to stay dead. When they return, they will instantly die again.
Yeah, and once again, if Lovebite goes in here and just plays very aggressively, which they kind of seem to do in most of their matches already, this is just not going to go well for Root at all. But I'm just going to go back and say, I love the underdog. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I would love to see Rude pull this off, simply for the fact that we're standing here saying there's no way they can pull it off. So
Don't get me wrong, I agree with you, but logically they shouldn't. If they do, I will just coming out simple. I will belittle LoveBytes if they lose to
it,
Rude.
yeah, I mean, it would be a pretty big upset to see a strong composition like that go up against with really
Not
the
only is
the
it a stronger composition, they're also a stronger team. They have everything stronger than their opponent's Rude.
well, and the only damage that Rude has going for him is Nyx, and like you stated, they've only got one dash on their team, and that's their frontliner, the one person who doesn't necessarily need it.
I know you can't at least take Cork. If you want another healer, take Cork. Finn and Aurora, I can't say anything positive about it.
Well, not to mention with Quirk, you also have the ability to deal out some pretty serious damage yourself.
Yeah. But Aurora, Finn, don't get me wrong, they can deal damage, but they can't deal enough. Love Bites would just be laughing at the damage.
So it looks like they are going to do a little bit of ring around the rosy here. They did leave King Pyro up there in that bush to try and catch some vision, although none has been seen yet.
I'm sorry, I was just putting my light on.
Uh, Right, we
Yeah.
got Dojel doing the overcharge there. Earthrat building up some energy. Looks like he is running that selfish mod. Lojiki going invisible and then dropping a trap right through the middle. Pyro then snatching that might up as Celeste, of course. Skid Row dropping that box of doom right in the walkway there, hopefully trying to catch somebody. And looks like nobody walking through any of the traps, as LoveBytes is just continuing to work their way around that wall. King Pyro staying in place, still trying to get some vision. It doesn't look like there is any vision because Lojiki as Nyx is invisible though.
Yeah, they're in a really good position, and I like how King Pyrojack just stayed back to see if they were coming this way. Not much is obviously going on, but it does seem like teams are actively looking for the enemy team, which I do enjoy.
All right, and looks like we've got still no vision. There is a marker for Asana, though, and Celeste as well, so there is a little bit of an idea where the enemy teams are, or at least one player from each team. Both are in position fairly grouped up together, although we do have Rude here as a little bit more spread out.
Again, I do think Rude are in really good stand right.
And there we are, Lojiki throwing out a little bit of cover damage to Pyro. We have Earthrat taking damage from that Celeste trap there, and he's going to do a spray, just trying to poke out a smoke bomb catching Skiros, and it was mited. Skiros then taking some damage from J-Knight as well, and lots of scrambles coming through. That Helio wall doing its job. Got both Lojiki and Skiros.
I want to ask the question of what is Skiros doing? I know he's a frontliner. I know he has supports with him. But why would you actively choose to go into the enemy team as you are, especially knowing that the Aurora can't actually get close to you?
Oh, and there he is, catalysting out on turn 5. Dojel doing a dash shot, but not hitting anybody. We did have J-Knight take a shot from Lojiki as Nyx. And of course, several misses because of that catalyst dash. Dojel going to take some damage from Aurora's box of doom there. And a knockback once again also missing because of that early catalyst coming from Skiros.
So let me get this right. Skiros actively chose to run into the enemy team so he can dash out the next turn.
That's basically what happened, yes.
I don't have anything to say for that, so I'm going to move on.
All right, Dojel going for his overcharge. Earthrat throwing out some more heals just to top himself off. It looks like that double claw coming out from Pyro, hitting both Lojiki and Skid Row, both for cover damage. That box of doom doing some more damage to Dojel. Vortex round hitting King Pyro for cover damage. More cover damage coming from Skid Row. Just not a lot of damage coming out at all. Dojel then moving in behind the enemy team.
I can see that more because Dojo does have the dashes necessary to actually get out quite a lot of to get away from quite a lot of damage.
And he is running the extra charge, so he can keep that up quite a bit.
And Skid Row choosing to stay in the same position. See, I do believe that's 3 turns now. Skid Row has chosen not to move. I do think it's the better position to be in for now, but he should at least be moving, if not the littlest bit.
And a 3-man shot coming from Dojel. He did roll through that Nyx trap, though, to get there. Mines coming out, hitting both Skid Row and Earthrat. And here comes that trap being fired off at nothing, probably just expired. Dojel is going to take a slow and some damage from the bubble, and also a little bit of cover damage from Aurora as well.
Again, Skid Row, 4th turn, same position. What are you doing, lad? For love of God, just move. Dojo, again, does he have a roll? He should be rolling to at least get the Knicks. I do think that's the better option for them to go, and he's able to get back to his team a little bit.
And there goes Earthrat.
But look on the side. You just see the Asana not able to get anywhere.
lots of dashes. There goes Skid Row, Dojo catalysting out, and J Knight using his bombing run. Earthrat going to take some smoke bomb damage, and Earthrat taunting a shot, catching Pyro and Spaceman both. And here comes a shot from Logiki, missing because of the catalyst, and he is then going to walk through a Helio wall to be scrambled for the next turn. A shame with his ultimate up.
So not only did we see Skiros walk into the enemy team and then dash out, we saw Skidrow stay in the same spot for 4 turns and then Catalyst dash out. I don't know what the communication is, but obviously there is zero communication within that team.
Oh, and here comes Dojo catching a Might Shield from Helio. King Pyrojack dashing out despite the fact that he had cover. Of course, Skiros was right there and missed him. Box of Dune coming down to heal him. Logiki and Earthrat both being caught by L's shot. Logiki then going to hit Grimolitions. And Echo Hammer catching Earthrat for some cover damage. J-Knight as Grimo then firing off, catching Earthrat and leaving a mine behind, hoping to catch someone else.
Logiki ridiculously low, but does have the ult, and he is able to hit 2 people. Although Dojo does have the dash, and he should be using it at least this turn. Skiros again, nowhere to be found. I can't really say much else than that.
And here comes Skid Row throwing a heal onto Earthrat. Pyro popping that turtle tech. Here comes a bubble. Earthrat throwing it onto himself. J-Knight turtle teching as well. Eojiki using his might. Looks like that ultimate may be coming up here. Dojo catching a black hole from Spaceman and throwing up a drone for himself. Here comes Pyro with his ultimate, dealing damage to Skiros and Earthrat. Skiros then going to root Spaceman. Logiki with his ultimate, doing 62 to Dojo and J-Knight both. Dojo then going to shoot Earthrat with the shotgun for 25, and here comes the mines hitting Earthrat and leaving one behind. Earthrat now very low. That shield pretty much saved him from being only at 6 health this turn.
Saying that Dojo did only choose to go for the Finn, but then actually didn't roll even though he knew where the Nyx was, and he should have been aware that the Nyx did have the ult. It was needless damage to take, and I do think it was the wrong move that he did.
More turtle techs coming out here from Skiros and Dojo. Earthrat doing a 2-person heal plus himself with that selfish mod. Here comes a trap from Logiki. And Spaceman throwing his ultimate onto himself with 2 members of the enemy team in adjacent squares. J-Knight then going to use his catalyst to get out of there to avoid some Aurora damage. Skiros then doing a swipe, and Spaceman with that ultimate hitting both Skiros and Earthrat. And of course, we've got Logiki going down here, taking damage from multiple places. And Dojo doing his ultimate, going to take down Finn and knock Skiros back to stay into place. That is 2 kills now for LoveBytes.
Again, we can see even though they have 2 supports, they're not able to do anything. Dojo's been on quite low health for quite a while, but no one's able to do anything. Skiros is just running around like a headless chicken trying to find someone. Skid Row, I don't know what he's doing. He's just been here and there and everywhere. But they don't have the communication that other teams have. They need to be working on this.
And there goes Pyro grabbing up that health and that ultimate. Echo Hammer going on to Skiros, followed by a shot from L. J-Knight splorting in that corner area there, and now using his ultimate. Looks like he's going to focus it completely onto Skiros, doing a huge 68 damage. Even that Aurora ultimate can't save him. 3rd kill coming in for LoveBytes.
Again, repeating myself, 2 supports. But LoveBytes are just able to take every kill so easy. There's no even like, oh, they're on low health, but now they're full health. They're just whittling them down and just taking them down so easy. They're dropping. They're being cut up like butter.
Well, and they've got several ways. So they got Spaceman there with the might bubbles. They've got Dojul there who can overcharge his shots. So even though the enemy team has 2 supports, they're able to compensate by dealing extra damage through buffs.
They're able to compensate by doing buffs, but their allies aren't doing anything.
And J-Knight...
Skiros has... I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, J-Knight's taking a shot there from Logiki. We got a knockback from Skid Row, knocking him through a Helio wall, leaving him scrambled and surrounded by the enemy team.
My resolve is doubled.
And by Skid Row actually choosing to stay in the same spot for 4 turns than Catalysting out, now in the worst position possible. This will be the 4th kill for LoveBytes.
Yeah, there is just no way for him to get out of this at all, especially being scrambled. He can only heal himself for 5 this turn. Looks like J-Knight's getting a black hole to heal himself up. Skid Row deciding just to deal some damage because that is the only way he can heal himself. A Vortex round is hitting the enemy team for 30. But here comes that smoke bomb landing on Skid Row along with a mine. A shot from Dojul, overcharged shot at that, finishing him off, leaving that 4-0 in favor of LoveBytes. And although LoveBytes does have 2 members very low, they still have a huge lead.
Honestly, this is hard to watch. That's all I can say really. It's very hard to watch this team. Just they're trying something that they think they can work, but it's not working at all. The Asana has only done 71 damage.
So at this point, we're seeing some dashes coming from Dojul and King Pyrojack just to kind of get out of the way there. All damage was avoided that round, so not a lot going on.
Although I call it out by supports going in too deep, he did do a very good decision of getting in there so he can get at least the 2-man ult.
Oh, and here comes Dojul deciding to overcharge since he does appear to be out of danger this time. Here comes J-Knight with a bombing run, just getting out of dodge. Pyro also catalysting out, causing Skiros to miss completely, but Logiki does still hit Pyro with a sniper shot.
4 turns remaining.
Although I just said it, I do agree with Earthrat keeping the ultimate. I wasn't aware that J-Knight did have his bombing run. But again, Skiro is in a good position now, but he's only just got here. But LoveBytes are in really, really good positions right now, and they're able to get away and just run. I do think that's the best option to go for right now. Just run around the map, make them chase you, and you'll just win the game.
And does appear to what they are doing. Got Pyro splitting his damage between Skiros and Earthrat. Logiki surprisingly deciding to shoot J-Knight behind cover, while Skid Row does throw down that box of doom. J-Knight drops the Splore to prevent any follows. There is also a Helio while doing the same. He launches out 2 mines to Logiki and Skiros, who then hits Pyrojack. Earthrat gonna finish him off with a spray, giving Rude their first kill. But they do only have 3 turns left to tie it up. They need 3 more kills. I don't believe they can do it, but we'll see if they can surprise us. Logiki is also now scrambled.
That is true. They might be able to take out J-Knight soon, but I don't see them able to get any other kill. Helio should be choosing to just sprint away. Do nothing. Leave your team behind. I'm sorry. You're dead. Whatever. I'm going to stay alive.
And here comes Skiros jumping in with his ultimate, dealing damage to J-Knight, who's also going to take some more from that box of doom left behind by Aurora. We've got Spaceman throwing the Echo Hammer out to Skiros, and Skid Row is going to finish off Grimolitions with that Aurora Basic, bringing it up 2-4, but LoveBytes still in the lead. And especially with Helio having his ultimate here.
I missed it. Did Helio have his ult last turn, or did he just get it?
I just noticed it. I want to say he just got it.
Okay. A pretty standard round. We knew that JNet was unavoidable, really.
Of course, here he goes, throwing that ultimate on himself. Dojel is just playing a dodge game over there, not even trying to deal damage. Smoke coming out to prevent any kind of vision from King Pyrojack. Once again, they're not worrying about damage here. They have a solid lead here at the just about end of the game. Round 20 starting right now. I don't believe there is any way mathematically that Rude can catch up to even tie the game.
Yeah, the last turn, they can't get too close. This is GG. So I honestly don't care about this, and I want to just talk about the game. But I'll let you finish.
Alright, we got Spaceman throwing that shield on the Pyro and Turtle teching himself. Just lots and lots of preventative measures to make sure, just in case they pull out something crazy. Or Brute coming from Skiros while he takes some Celeste trap damage. Dojel catching that Doom box there, and also taking an ultimate from Nyx, but Pyro throws out an ultimate of his own to Skiros. Echo Hammer coming out to finish Skiros off. That's the 5th kill, and it is over. Dojel going to take some damage there, but still alive with 4 health. They couldn't even capture that 3rd kill.
All according to plan.
GG.
My plan.
So I want to start. I've mentioned his name so much. Skiros. What was happening? 152 damage and 510 damage received. What he didn't do anything really that game. He just ran around like a headless chicken trying to find people, and then when he found people, he let them get away.
He was just having a hard time getting his position correctly. And I'm not sure what quite was going on there. I think they were expecting there to be some more aggressive moves coming out of LoveBytes, because they were kind of going back and forth between aggressive and defensive, and Skiros was just, as a melee character, was just trying to find the right place to be, and I don't think he used follow quite enough. And the one time he did get right into the middle of the enemy team, he had to catalyst out. And that was turn 5, very, very early on.
I'm speechless at the plays from Skiros and Skidrow. The team needs to sit down, re-watch these games, and realize, okay, we are bad, but let's get better. They can get better. If you're bad, you can only get better, right? You just have to stick at it, practice more, practice your communication, queue up together, scrim against better teams, get better yourselves. They can do it. I do believe if they spent a week practicing together, next week they can come out really strong. I know Skidrow is a good player, but he's not proving it. Earthrat, I haven't really seen him, but very questionable player. I honestly can't call out what he's doing half the time. And Logiki needs to work on his positioning, really.
So, but yeah, I think it was just a case there was a lot of bad positioning there. It seemed like they just weren't quite sure what to do more than half the time. So we were running into issues where they were just out of position, and LoveBytes, with all the practice I know that they've been doing, and trying to better themselves just an incredible amount, dedicating time to it, they were just able to see this and capitalize on it.
Yeah, it does look like we'll be trying to get Dojel in for the interview. And I do have some questions I would really like to ask.
And of course, Dojel was playing L. Again, fantastic stuff. Love seeing L on the battlefield. He didn't capture top damage this time, but he was pretty close.
He did do well. Hello, Dojel.
Hello, sirs.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
So before we start the interview for this game, I want to touch a little bit on the previous game you played against 2OP. How did it feel to stay alive for so long?
I mean, it's one of the two ways you can deal with a Rust. You either nuke him down hard or you ignore him completely. And looking at the numbers, they ignored me completely.
Yeah, you stayed alive for so long, and I thought you would die every turn, but you didn't. But going from that onto this game, let's talk about turn one. I do think that your positioning was a little bit questionable and you did kind of like run around the map without anything going. I want to hear, how is your communication going within the team? How are you bonding together? How are you improving?
I mean, I honestly think our communication is pretty great. Like, there's obviously some kinks that need to be worked out, but I honestly think that's with most of the new teams.
Yeah.
But I think we're doing all right.
How do you feel you did against Rude?
I mean, I don't really know how to answer that, to be honest. Like, I think I did good enough. Like, I don't want to get boastful or anything or be disrespectful, so I'm just gonna say good enough, apparently.
First, I do, coming into this whole match series, you should have dominated them both games like we saw in game two. Game one, that's why I asked about the communication, because it wasn't quite there and you should have been dominating Rude from the very beginning. You did win, congratulations, but the first game was a little bit here and there. But talking about the second game, I need to hear your thoughts on this. So Skiro actually walked into you and then Catalyst out. What were your reactions?
Honestly, I can't even remember that happening, to be really honest. Like,
It
was not.
It was turn 4 in the second game. He ran into you and then actually chose to Catalyst out.
Oh, right. You'll have to excuse me. I look more at freelancers than I look at names. So you're talking about the Asana, right?
Yes, correct.
We did think that was a bit, because our strategy was honestly go for one of the not Asana and force their catalyst, and then we were like, hey, the Asana used their catalyst, and we thought it was a bit, well, we found it a bit ironic given our strategy, but we did think that was interesting.
Yeah. So again, with a catalyst quite early, Skid Row actually chose to stay in the same position for 4 turns, and then when you finally got into position where you could hit him, he chose to catalyst out. What were your reactions on that one? Skid Row was the Aurora.
Skid Row, well, we thought, well, we did it. We did it. Like, we don't really have a lot of explicit reactions because we try to actually focus on the gameplay, and I also, like I said it before, I really don't want to be disrespectful to anyone.
I understand that. So I'll move on. I do actually want to touch against about your drafting. Your drafting is superb. Have you been practicing it?
Oh, we have definitely been practicing our drafting. In fact, we made some sort of flowchart for the draft, so that, because our drafting didn't go so well last week, so that was definitely one of the points we really tried to improve on.
Yeah, I will say your drafting was almost perfect. Every game you have played today, you've outdrafted your enemy every single game. And I'm very impressed with that. Did you get the teams you were looking to get?
Generally, we did get the teams that we did get. Everyone did get a freelancer we thought were powerful enough and comfortable with. Although, like, we rotate around a lot, so the comfortable issue isn't really that big of a deal. But yes, we did kind of get the teams we were trying to get, I guess.
Okay, on game 2 of Rude vs. LoveBytes, Rude actually opted to choose the Finn and the Aurora. What were your thoughts on that? Was you going into the game expecting them to stay alive for so many turns? Or were you just expecting, like, okay, this is just an easy game, we're just going to kill them?
Well, I think you have noticed that in response we went with 3 fire powers. So we were like, if they're going to go with all the healing, then we are going to go with all the damage. And I feel like that worked out in the end.
Will we see LoveBytes picking up 2 supports in the future? Or do you think it's just not that good?
I mean, with the game changing on Tuesday and the meta being always in flux, I honestly can't tell you that. We will
Yeah.
have to see.
Well, I'm very impressed with your performance today, actually, and thank you for playing. Do you have anything you want to say?
I don't really want to add anything. So no, not really. I want to thank the
You
team
don't want
for.
to say.
I
You don't
want
want
to
to say
thank my team for being a
congratulations to
team.
my team. There we go. That's what I wanted.
I'm not that good at interviews.
Septimus, do you have anything you want to add?
I do. I want to say thank you for playing L and bringing L into the competitive league and adding another win to the statistic for L being played. Just out of curiosity, one thing I was wondering when I saw you guys go 3 firepowers against the 2 support, it seemed like you guys all went for firepowers that could be used almost as an AoE effect. You know, you got Grimo who can tag 2 enemies at once. Celeste, who has the same ability, and of course L, who is just an AoE firepower to begin with. Was that something that you guys had kind of planned, was to just spread the damage around as much as possible?
That is actually a bit of a coincidence. Like, Jay, Jay is our generalist. He generally plays everyone, and we kind of think Gremlicious is top tier. Aside from that, King Pyrojack is a really big Celeste main, and I'm a really big L main. That's really it.
Oh, well, I'm really excited to see that, or hear that rather, and I hope to see you playing L a lot more in the future, so we can, you know, maybe smush some of that L is no good nonsense.
We can only hope.
Well, to wrap this up, congratulations to you, congratulations to your team, and thank you for doing this interview with us.
You're welcome. Also, one last thing, Root did put up a good fight.
They did first game, I will admit with that, but I have to be honest and say the second game, I do think they were going in all the wrong places. Like I said, Skiros only did, I believe, 170 damage overall. He was running around like a headless chicken.
Well, thanks for the interview.
All right, Dojo, thanks for stopping by, man.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, that was the second matchup for today on the YouTube. Of course, Mr. Saiyan leaving Dojo breathless with his straight-up brutality. Next up, we're going to see Freelancer United Nation versus Cookie Cutters. I'm very excited to watch this one.
I am very excited.
Yeah, Cookie Cutters has been showing just some dramatic improvements over the past several weeks. So I really want to see how far they've come going up against Freelancer United Nation, which is another one of the newer teams, but showing some promise as well. So we will be back shortly, about a 5-minute break here, and we will see what's going on with that matchup. I am Septimus, this is Mr. Saiyan, and we will be right back.